Hi everyone, this is Teacher at Home with a new video. This is a different kind of video. This video is going to be for those of you who are looking at the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Okay, teachers and police officers and firefighters and nurses and social workers and all these people who got um, went to college, got their loans, are paying their loans, and then, as we found out recently, 98, 99% of the loans are not being forgiven. So what happened? And if you're about 5 years in, what do you have to do? So I'm expressing this because this is what happened to me. And so I want to go over some things that seem pretty basic, but I didn't do it. And I think a lot of other people didn't do it. So, for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, that is coordinated by the federal government as part of the My Fed Loan program. And what you have to do is you have to go to myfedloan.org. Let me repeat that, myfedloan.org. Now, when you go to myfedloan.org, you can actually register for the loan forgiveness program because you are not automatically registered, and your loan provider, they're not going to take care of you, as many people have found out. So there's actually nothing wrong with the loan forgiveness program. The problem is that so many of us depended on our loan provider to take care of this for us. And what we have discovered is you just cannot do that. Okay, so the first thing is you got to take care of yourself. So you go to myfedloan.org and you start to go through the process, and they will tell you, well, have you consolidated your loans? Oh, if your loans are not consolidated, you're not in the program. Oh, have you transferred your loans to a direct loan from the United States Department of Education? What? I need to transfer my consolidated loans to the US Department of Education to get a direct loan from the United States government to pay off my loan provider? Yes, you absolutely need to do this. So, everybody who heard, oh, I got the wrong loan, you don't have the correct loan, you need to transfer your loan to the direct loan program. That's the first thing. If you're only 1 year in, you've got your your student debt, you've graduated, you're starting to be a teacher, you're starting your career in law enforcement, or you're a paramedic, or in some way you want to try to cover your expenses for your um, student loans, make sure you get into this program. Go to myfedloan.org. Make sure that you consolidate your loans and you transfer them to the direct loan program. I made about 3 or 4 years of payments before I learned this, because when I called my loan provider and I said, hey, am I in a loan program, the loan forgiveness program? They said, sure. I said, well, how many payments have I made? And they could not answer me. So for me to track the federal loan forgiveness program payments I made, I had to go directly to them, where they told me after 3 or 4 years of payments, hey, you have the wrong loan. You need to consolidate your loan and transfer it to the direct loan. So that's the first thing. You have to do it. Do it now. If you have not done it, make sure you get on top of it. Don't wait for the federal government to forgive your student loans. Um, I really doubt that there's going to be some magic pill that's going to happen. However, once you do this, my understanding is there is a process in place now where they will credit certain past payments. So maybe all your time is not wasted. Maybe when you go through the application process, there is a new form that says, hey, check all the payments I've been making and give me credit for them. So you can still get credit for loan payments you have made in the past. Now, whether or not they have to be as direct loan, I don't know because this happened recently. This happened after all of my headache of transferring my loans. So make sure you go to myfedloan.org, see what credit you can get for the payments you have made. Make sure you consolidate your loans for the direct loan program and you get immediately into the program. Now, the great thing is they will still give you opportunities to pay less on your loan if you can't afford it. So there are still um, repayment options that might be, for example, the income based repayment option is a way that you can, they calculate a percentage of your pay and they say, okay, you only have to pay this much. And even if it's only going to interest, it doesn't matter. As long as you make those payments for 10 years, ultimately your principal will be forgiven. Okay? So there are income based repayment options, there are deferment options, but I highly recommend you do not defer your payments. Look at the income based payment options and see what you can do to have a smaller payment. Try not to defer them. Okay. So once you are in the program, they will ask you for proof that you are still working at a job that qualifies for the loan forgiveness program, which means you have to get your employer to sign a paper that says, uh, yes, this person is still a public school teacher. Yes, this person is still a firefighter working for, this jurisdiction. And so you will need to make sure that you do that. My recommendation is do it every year because they don't keep counting. Like they'll have, okay, you have this many payments, but the payments don't count until you get that. Oh, that's right. This person has been working here for 5 years. Oh, okay. So then I'm going to go back and credit the payments I received over 5 years if you've been in that program for 5 years. So if you've been in the program for a significant amount of time, you've already transferred your loans, you've consolidated them, you've gotten your direct loan program, you've signed up for the public service loan forgiveness. And when you signed up, you said, yes, I'm a public school teacher. And everybody, your boss signed the form. It could be your principal, signed the form, you returned it, but you haven't done it again. Do it again. Okay? Do it annually, every year. And then what you will receive is you will receive a form that will tell you how many payments you have made as part of the program. So you will receive a form regularly that will keep you abreast of how many payments count toward the program. Really, really important. And if they say, we're not accepting this form, you've got to resubmit it. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what your lender says. It matters what the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program says, which is actually kind of connected to your FAFSA um, through the Fed Loan Services of the U.S. Department of Education. That's who knows where your loan is. Those are the only people who can tell you how many payments you have made that count. Okay? Now, it's not the end of the world if you're a little bit behind in this, but you got to get on top of it because your loan will be forgiven and they will not charge you taxes on the forgiveness, but you have to get in the program. It basically averages out that 10 years of payments pretty much will pay off your loan balance. But if you're somebody who deferred your loan and deferred your loan again and deferred your loan again, and suddenly you've got $100,000 of debt for your student loans because you've been deferring it, get into the program. Make sure your loans are consolidated. Make sure your payments are counting towards the loan forgiveness program. Now, for teachers, there's another. There are two options. There's the public service loan forgiveness, but there's also a teacher loan forgiveness, which has a limitation of how much money they will forgive you for. And you cannot do both. Very important. You cannot get teacher loan forgiveness and public service loan forgiveness. You don't get to be forgiven twice. So make sure you evaluate, hey, how much do I owe on my student loans? Which program is going to give me the most benefit? And then sign up, cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure that you keep up with it. And every year, fill out the paperwork and watch as the balances move up. As, okay, this year I made 12 payments. The next year I made 11 payments. The following year, I made 11 more payments. Now I made 13 payments because I was a little late. And suddenly, out of 120 payments after 4 years, you look down and you say, hey, okay, I'm more than a third of the way done. Okay? So for public service loan forgiveness, myfedloan.org. Once again, myfedloan.org. Go through the program. Your loans will be forgiven, but you have to take care of it yourself. Do not rely on a third party. Do not rely on whoever is managing your student loans. You have to manage your own student loans, and your loans will be forgiven. And I hope that this informs you and you've realized, oh, holy cow or holy schmoly, I have to get with the program, because that's the takeaway from this. If you want your loans forgiven, you have to get with the program. The 10 years will go relatively fast once you do, but if you don't, you could have already spent 10 years paying off your loans, and now you're in a situation where you have to see how many of your prior payments they will count. And a lot of that has to do with who your loan provider is and whether or not they have maintained accurate records, because there's a lot of hand counting. They literally will go in and count all of your loan payments by hand in order to figure out what your situation is. Okay, so this is kind of a long video, but very important. If you are a public service worker and you have student loans and you'd like to get them forgiven, then you have to go to myfedloan.org. Make sure you sign up for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Look at income-based repayment options if the payment is just too high for you to make. See what your options are. Try to get on top of it and try to get ahead of it, because um, it's easy to lose some years. I think I lost three, maybe four. I lost 4 years of payments. And this program started in 2017. I lost 4 years of payments, but I've been working as a public school educator for 14 years prior to even the beginning of this program. So none of those payments counted. None of those payments for 14 years even counted. So, my friends, my fellow people who are giving back to the community, myfedloan.org, set it up, get your account, take care of it today, and God bless you. And I pray that you will be able to have as much credit for the payments you've already gotten, and that you can get your loan forgiven as quickly as possible. Okay? So, again, this is Teacher at Home for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. They will forgive your loans, but you have to make sure that you go through the bureaucratic steps to make it happen. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the classroom.